Start the fucking
So you want
intro.
me to do it?
Yeah, you the host. I'm the co-host.
Yeah,
Motherfucker.
nigga, I'm the host, you the co-host, nigga.
Yeah.
Alright, bet. Give me. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Locker Room Logic. Here with Charles Cannon, and today we got NBA preseason for you.
Yeah. What's up, y'all? Welcome to Locker Room Logic, where sports meets the culture.
Yes, sir.
Today, we gonna be giving our own little opinions on the NBA preseason so far, and then what we think about going into the NBA season. So, Matt, start off. I
Facts,
know you got
facts.
some hot takes to say.
Yes, I do. I do. So first off, I want to see. So the Knicks played the Sixers preseason, and as a Knicks fan, I'm not even too happy with what I'm seeing. Like, yes, the offense is flowing, but the bench still look light to me. I don't know. Like, I know we got the six man of the year, Jordan Clarkson, and all that. But I don't know what Yabusele is gonna do. Mitchell Robinson he's still moving slow. He's not the agile 7 footer that we drafted. So I really don't know about them. But only time could tell as well. I don't like how some of the interviews I've been hearing where they saying like Mike Brown's gonna not throw games, but like just sit the starters and let the bench go in. I feel like every game we need to just play and compete, but who knows?
Nah, I mean, I feel you. I feel you on that. But I'm not sure if you've been hearing, but the Jazz might be looking to move Laurie Marketing, and
That is
the
true.
Knicks need a new big man if Mitchell not Robinson not working out. So
That
I
is
think that
true.
would be a valid trade personally, because not only can Laurie Marketing space the floor, in my opinion, he's a better rim protector. He's stronger. He's healthier. And in my opinion, he's been improving his career. Well, improving his career over there in Utah, purgatory. That's what we like to call
Yeah,
it.
that is purgatory.
Um, but yeah, this NBA preseason, it hasn't been too bad. I like the little sample sizes of what we want to expect going into this season. Like, as you know, the Thunder, as the recent champs, as the recent champs, we got a lot to prove this year. We looking solid. Nikola Topic and all of our guys, all of our young guys, just like him, are looking pretty good, especially going into the season. Um, what else? Defensively, we looking a little sluggish because of
Mm.
how we played against the Spurs, but it's preseason, and then we have mainly like bench players play, but everybody's looking ready and healthy. Um, we looking for another MVP season from Shea, another 30 point per game scoring season. J Dub, I'm looking for him to launch up to at least 26 a game. Chet,
26 a game.
Chet, we just gotta say, pray Chet's freaking stay healthy, because Chet, what he played with 30 regular season games.
Yeah, he didn't really do nothing in the finals either. Like,
I mean, nah, he did a little bit of something in the playoffs and in the finals, but like it's it's like when you that skinny and you like been injured
bro,
twice in what, two
Miles
years.
Turner was having his way,
Miles Turner. All right, that's because Miles Turner is grandfather. Like
bro.
he been in the league since what, 2014, 2015.
Yeah, something like that.
Like he been in the league for a while now. So um, but yeah, I'm not sure if you seen, but Victor Oladipo,
Oh my
he
goodness,
back on the basketball court.
he is. He is.
Like, yo, Victor Oladipo is good to see him. And honestly, a lot of like guys like him because he was underappreciated in my opinion when he was in the league, and just to see him being able to like dribble a basketball and just run up and down the court.
Y'all should get him on the Thunder, yo.
No, we
Vet
not.
leadership.
No,
I
we
need a vet leader in the locker room.
how we need a vet, bro. We got veteran present. We got Alex Caruso. That's
That
our veteran,
no, bro. You need a vet leader in that locker room, bro. I could tell just by the championship speeches they gave.
bro. We talking about the man who saved basketball,
Who saved
Aaron
basketball? Oh
Wiggins.
my god, bro. Don't nobody know him, bro.
Aaron Wiggins saved basketball, bro.
You think OKC could go back to back?
Honestly,
They should go back to back,
we
bro.
should go back to back this year, but it's hard to go back to back because what was the last back to back? The Warriors, and
Literally.
since then, it's been a different champion
I
since.
mean, they say it's hard to go back to back, but a lot of teams that won a championship could have went back to back. It's just they made wrong decisions in the organization and they didn't go back to back. So I
Uh,
feel like we need another dominant team to like at least go back to back. I ain't talking about like three peat or nothing. I'm saying at least go back to back.
Nah, you're right. You're right. Cause we bringing back everybody. We healthy,
That
so
is
we
true.
stronger, we better, more intelligent. I feel like definitely with this group of young guys, we can go far this year, and hopefully around 60 to 70 wins. But you know the Western Conference is a tougher
Yeah, I was
conference
just
every
about to say
year.
The West is hard.
Hmm.
I mean, you ain't got to worry about like the Lakers and nothing, but it's mostly Dallas, San Antonio, Houston now. So I think it's them top teams that the West is gonna have to worry about.
Honestly, just to touch on the Lakers real quick, I don't know how I feel about DeAndre Ayton because
Oh,
I'm not sure if you seen the game, but that brother cannot play defense.
nah, bro.
Like
He
he was letting everybody get past him. It was one play, I forgot who he was guarding, but he right at the corner of the three, dude just scooped right past him, went for the layup, and it's like, bro, as the center, you were brought to the Lakers for defense,
nah. The Lakers
and
ain't doing nothing this
and
year.
it's the fact that you didn't play no defense during the preseason game is crazy. And then, in my opinion, we out there with the Lakers need to like they need to play Bronny differently because Bronny not looking like a point guard. There's too many
Nah,
plays
nah. He not.
where he was bringing up the ball, didn't reset, didn't lost control, missing shots, missing plays, missing passes. Is like it's like in my opinion, the Lakers this year they just need to use this season as what we thought was going to be LeBron's last year,
That is
but
true.
you know it was a Hennessy ad. Um, but I feel like they just need to use this year to just experiment with Luca and like different play styles with him and other players,
Right,
especially with
right.
Austin Reeves, and then they just need to see where how they could build around Luca going into these next what he signed a 4 year extension,
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 year extension. So and a guy like Luca, he need to win now. So getting him
Nah,
those
for real.
pieces
He's
need to happen
already like
soon.
26, bro. He's already 26. Next thing you know, he's gonna be 30. And the Lakers, I mean, me personally, the Lakers is going absolutely nowhere. They're going nowhere. Luca can't play defense, but so they need to build around him. So the fact that like DeAndre Ayton is there strictly for defense and he's not playing defense is like that's eye opening to me because I feel like the Lakers need a lot. They need to do a lot, and it starts with and just like you said, if they experiment this year with like LeBron and stuff, Bron literally needs to be that person in the locker room to just be like, look, just go out and play. Like he need to lead by not by example, but be more of a vocal leader now and not try to be that number one guy. Cause like yeah, what he's doing is great. Like 43 years old, still averaging 25. Like that's all good, but that's not gonna work in the playoffs like we seen 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So Lakers are going nowhere as far as 2025, 2026. But
Um,
if they build around Luca more with like better defensive guys, draft better like defensive gems in like
mhm.
the second round, late first rounders,
Yeah,
then we'll see in like 2, 3 years where they're at. But
yeah.
you know,
And then sticking with the California region, Golden State. How we feeling about them this year?
Golden State, they didn't really do nothing. So they didn't really do nothing in the free agency in the offseason. They ain't really trade nothing. Kaminga, he's been like he signed. We know he signed back, but I don't know where he's gonna fit in that offense. I don't know what Steve Kerr plans to do with him. Him and Steve Kerr like have some beef or whatever, but I don't know what the Golden State is really doing for real because one, Steve Kerr, he can only coach a certain type of player, and that's people like Steph Curry, Clay, Draymond. He can only coach them type of players. So having with the young guys they got, I don't think it's gonna mesh well. So
No, I get it, but they got that boy Big Al.
yeah,
Al
oh
Horford
yeah, yeah, yeah.
brings a lot of like impact to a team, as you saw with the Celtics for those few years and with that championship that they
Yeah.
had last year. Um, and then with them being one of the older teams in the league, I do think that they will be playing slower this year.
Mhm.
Like, yes, Steph Curry is running around the court. Got Jimmy, doing what he doing. and you got Draymond with the vocal leadership and in the defense and the playmaking. But like I could definitely see them going into the season playing a little slower, more conservative because with their best players being older, it's best to like just it is best to see what these younger guys on the teams can do and see what Steve Kerr could do as a coach. But I think he'll probably just go into the season just starting off a little slow. I don't think they'll be like a top 5 seed. They could definitely make the playoffs if possible.
Yeah,
I say around like the 6th seed, honestly.
I
And
feel like they're gonna be a play-in. My prediction, they're a play-in team and get knocked out in second. I'll give them second round, and then next offseason, Jimmy gonna want to trade.
this,
Jimmy gonna want to trade.
nah, yo, man, fuck that nigga Jimmy, bro.
Bro, Jimmy gonna want to trade, bro. He already said this offseason, like I guess it was reported that he had texted Steve Kerr, was just like, yo, what are we doing with this team and shit. So it's already little tension there, because they didn't really do nothing in the offseason. So and now the average age is like 35 on that team. So yeah, they got knowledge and all that, and Jimmy's still playing at a high level, but you never know when you got like Sir Amen Thompson in Houston. You got these young guys that's just gonna run right by him.
Yeah, actually, speaking of Houston, um, I feel like this year Houston definitely could make a huge impact in the league, especially with now they have Kevin Durant, one of the greatest scorers of all time. So they don't
Yeah,
really got to worry about trying to play make for him because we all know KD can go and get his buckets regardless. It's just like without that point guard, it's like where are they gonna go in terms of like
bro.
facilitating for all other players like a
Yeah,
man, like Sangoon. Like Sangoon, he kind of reminds me of like a Sabonis, Jokic kind of player. He
yeah,
can
nah,
get
for real.
rebounds, he can play make. Because all European players, they learn fundamentals. So like playmaking in them is like second nature.
And he did good in FIBA this year, same
And
game.
yeah, he did great in FIBA
Yeah,
actually.
he went off.
Like and then you know they bench isn't the deepest, but they got something there off the bench. Who
Yeah,
they
I
got?
mean, nigga, I don't even know who they got. I think like Aaron
Yeah,
Holiday. They
Aaron
say he
Aaron
might be the
Holiday. Yep.
like he might get starting reps and stuff like that. But I don't. Other than that, I don't really know who's on that bench. But my concern is though, if things don't go right in Houston, I just don't want KD to ruin what they have in Houston before him with Thompson, with Shangoon. They traded away Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks, but they had a core there that was like low key in their prime, and then he comes in. We all know what KD does. Like he comes in and stuff when stuff doesn't go right, he gets mad and wants to leave. So I hope he just doesn't break that up because he signed like a 4 year extension or something like that. So he signed for the long term. So I just hope in the next 2 years, if they keep getting like eliminated or if they keep getting swept, hope he don't start crying and stuff like that.
This
So
dude, this dude, KD. Yeah, KD not gonna cry.
I
You
mean, look
want
at his track record. So
his track record?
look at his track record.
Nah, KD gonna have another great season. Like in my
Nah, he
opinion,
is.
I think what his mentality going into the season needs to be just trying to prove everybody wrong. Because it's been what 4 years since the 21 season with the Nets,
Yeah,
and ever since that season, I feel like his mentality on wanting to win has changed because like with Devin Booker and those guys in Phoenix, he was I'll say he wasn't a vocal leader, but
nah.
he was more like a I'm gonna get a bucket, everybody else do what y'all do. We're gonna try to make this shit work. And they didn't really have like no real game plan, especially after when they traded Chris Paul.
Yeah, that
So
was
like
crazy.
having Devin Booker play that like point guard role, which like in my opinion isn't his like natural role, it like that like kind of like suffocated KD's play style and just like it threw him off and threw Devin Booker off because like their games weren't meshing at one point because of like Devin Booker trying to play make for a dude that's so used to like having the ball in his hands 24/7 and just like that whole Phoenix system is just a little weird because
Yeah,
what they do
they
after Chris Paul, they just tried to get a bunch of what shooters,
yeah they just got to
and
get
none of those
shooters.
dudes really worked out.
But mind you, when
Um,
they had Chris Paul, KD, and Devin Booker, they went 8-0 in that 8 game stretch, which is it's crazy to me because they went 8-0. Like they gave Chris Paul 8 game time trial, and they went 8-0. So I don't know why they traded him away, But my thing is with KD, I hope this he's been blessed with a lot of good teams since leaving Golden State. So I hope this time around, this late in his career, he could like understand the opportunity he has at hand because this man like at this point like it's bigger than basketball. Like you want to win a ring, you want to like win a ring outside of Steph Curry. You want to solidify your history. If you don't win with this team by the time your contract is up, then we all know what we gonna have to say about his career. We
mm,
all know.
nah,
So
you're right. You're right. You know what he need to do. Go get that boy Russ.
maybe,
Go get Russ. Like
maybe, but
I know they got a full roster, and I know they ain't got no money on that cap and under that cap space. But I think right now, if they could just trade a couple guys for some picks, I think they need to go get Russ because Russell Westbrook proved with the Denver Nuggets that he can win. Like he can contribute. He's still one of the best playmakers of all time. Like he can give you 6 to 8 assists a game. He can give you like 8 rebounds. He can give you 11 points.
nah,
We not asking for
for
nothing
real.
special. Like yes, his shooter's not the best, but it's like when you got guys like the dudes you have on Houston, you don't need to know how to shoot. You just need to know how to play. He just need to know how to play his game. And with him and KD already having that chemistry, it's gonna be like second nature to them. And then with them being the older guys on that team, it will inspire the young guys to get that mentality of like, oh yeah, we got to do this, we got to win, because
Hey man,
like
listen,
last year we seen the Rockets have a very special future, especially with Amen Thompson and Sangoon. But it's like if they want to win with KD, they need to get pieces that know how to play with KD already. And so when they get guys like Russ that know how to play with KD, that they can get that information from Russ Westbrook, soak up that knowledge, and then learn different ways of the game. And then apparently they talking about starting Amen Thompson at point guard
hmm,
potentially.
yeah, I did see that.
And it's like if you want him to play point guard, you need an actual point guard to teach him how to play point guard, because you can't just have a dude throw him out there and expect him to know what to do off the rip, especially when he's never played that position at such a for a whole full NBA season at such a consistent level. And then just like other free agents, like or Ben Simmons, that's another good
Yeah, he
solid point
could, he
guard that
could.
they could go pick up. Ben Simmons is just like Russell Westbrook. He don't need to score. All he need to do is just facilitate, grab rebounds. But as we've been hearing, Ben Simmons is probably considering not coming back to the NBA.
Yeah,
He departed with his agent, right?
yeah, I
Yeah,
believe
and
so.
then the only team that offered him a contract was the Knicks, and he declined
He
that.
declined us. Yeah,
And with him declining that, it does seem prominent that he might leave the NBA, which is sad because we all know Ben Simmons had a great potential, had a great future ahead of him. And then one day he just mentally he just stopped. He just either stopped caring or just lost all that confidence. And
yeah.
Trey Young did it to him. All right, so to get back to what we were talking about, let's move on to the Eastern Conference. The West is a lot to unpack, especially in such as few minutes because all the move, not really yeah, all the moves,
And
all
all
the
the
players,
teams, like
all the
it's
teams,
teams.
and then the West is predominantly always the better conference as they like to say. But moving on to the East, Eastern Conference this year,
It's
I'm
wide open.
very wide open, especially with Tatum being out this year, but he may come back sooner, which his recovery is looking well. He's already dribbling. He's already kind of like doing smaller exercises as we've been seeing on videos. But the Celtics, I feel like this year they need to see. what Jalen Brown could do
Mm,
because these past few seasons we've always questioned Jalen Brown and his game and like him being that I guess Robin to Tatum's Batman.
yeah,
And we all know like a Robin needs to know how to like at least carry the team for a little bit while the Batman is out.
nah, for
Because
sure.
you had Pippen do it with the Bulls, you
I
had
was just about to say that.
you had Kobe do it with the Lakers, and then you've had now who would you say? I guess who would you say for those Warriors team was a Robin? Would you say it was Steph Curry,
Nah, I would
or would
say
you
it was
say it
more
was
so like
KD?
Clay.
Clay?
Clay, yeah,
Yeah, I guess yeah. You've had we haven't had Clay Carey, but in games where he has performed like crazy,
yeah.
his performances have been a result of winning. Um, but yeah, Jalen Brown just has a lot to prove in his game. I believe in him personally because this past season was a lot mentally for all of them, especially like as the Celtics franchise, they had a lot to prove, and sadly things didn't go their way.
Mm.
But I think this season, especially after losing Al Horford, after trading, they traded Kristaps, right?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
traded
after
Kristaps,
trading
Drew,
Kristaps, getting rid
they
of
yeah.
so many, getting rid of Drew Holiday, you know,
Yeah, and everybody knows how I feel about the Celtics. I feel like they did this to themselves, but I'm not talking about the Tatum injury. That's whatever. But I'm saying in terms of like extended order guys, um, like obviously Tatum and Brown extend, and but then extend 100 million Drew, 100 million Al, Kristaps, like the whole starting five from the championship. They gave the bag to, so they built that team for championship contention after 2024. Like they like to win multiple championships. All of a sudden now it's like they lose in the second round to the Knicks. I understand, Tatum went down, however, but now it's just like you all the team you built, you're just gonna take it apart when you did that to you financially did that to yourself. So I feel like you should just keep it how it is. Cause think about if you still had Drew, Horford, and Kristaps, and Tatum would have just been out. Team could have been better. Like could have still been better. Cause like they say, they built the team for multiple championships.
and then you take that pressure off Brown because Brown would have had a defensive guard and Drew
Exactly.
Holiday would have had a vocal leader in Al Horford would have had three a stretch big in Kristaps.
Exactly.
But it's like now as the coach, Joe Mazzulla needs to figure out what he's gonna do for Brown, how he's gonna run the plays, what are you gonna do, what does Peyton Pritchard bring? They also went losing who else? They lost Sam Hauser to the Spurs, right?
I think they lost
Yeah,
Sam Hauser too.
they lost
Have
they
to
lost
double
so
check.
many key pieces, and now they're
Yeah,
going into the season is really more like a what can we do to make Jalen Brown look better?
exactly.
What can Jalen do that's going to help us win next season? Because now it's just really more like a test in the waters, just get through everything, figure out what plays work, what play styles mesh with Jalen himself. Because now Jalen has to become that guy in a sense,
Hmm.
and I think he could prove himself, but it's a little weird because the East is it's a weird conference because you got teams like the Knicks where the Knicks, well, who'd y'all lose? Y'all lost who'd y'all lose overall season?
Uh, we
Um,
didn't lose nobody.
they didn't lose
We
nobody.
we broke. We added.
Yeah,
We the
added.
only person I mean you could say we lost was Precious Achua, but we didn't bring him back because he was on like a player team option. We just didn't bring him back. But other than that, our whole starting five is together. So
All
which
right.
is
Yeah, you're right. And then
yeah
y'all have Jordan Clarkson. Y'all
yeah
have Landry Shamet. Y'all have y'all signed Yabu Sele?
yeah we
Yeah.
got Yabu
Yeah.
Sele.
Y'all got Yabu Sele. So it's like now y'all got a little bit of breathing room to like little mess up for the first like at least 15 games. But after
Yeah,
that, I feel like by game 20, I need to know like, all right, Brunson does this, Cat does this, the rest of the guys, y'all
nah
do
for
this,
real.
this, and this. And because personally, I believe that the Knicks this year the East could be our year. Like the East is y'all's because the East is so wide open, and then
Nah, for real.
the other good teams are being led by younger guys, but
Yeah,
not as guys with much experience. Like
exactly.
you have like yes, you have the Cavs who they didn't really do much this offseason. They just brought back the same guys, Evan Mobley, Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen, and us. Based off the preseason, it looks like they're doing very good. Honestly, like
Yeah,
they're
they're doing good. I just hope they're not like another fraudulent 60-win team in the East, because like they lost last year when I thought they could have at least went to the conference finals, and it would have been Knicks and them in the conference finals. But that, like, I don't want them to be another fraudulent 60-win team, because then it is a big disappointment, and I think then Donovan Mitchell might want to leave, because if they have a great season again and then say they lose in the first round this time, like, then it's gonna be a problem. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, and then I really like just going back to those Utah days with Donovan. I believed, he always had great star potential.
nah, for real.
Taking the Thunder to 7 at 19, 20 years old. Um, doing what he did for Utah for those first few seasons, and now with Cleveland having a bigger impact in Cleveland than we honestly ever could have imagined,
Hmm.
and then just like I feel like he can definitely be an MVP candidate,
Yeah, I
but
was just
with
about to
the
say that.
team around him being as it is,
Yeah.
just like similar to Tatum, like the team around you is just so good, your MVP status is a little weird.
Hmm.
Um, and then you got other teams that's being led by younger guys like Paulo Banchero down there in Orlando,
Yeah,
Cade Cunningham up in Detroit. I guess you could say Trey Young in Atlanta, and
you could, but he's another one. I think Atlanta. I don't know really too much of what they're doing either. So I feel like Trey eventually he's gonna have to go play somewhere else. Where that is, I don't know yet. But Atlanta's doing like little to nothing with his potential. And it's also him too. Like he he came in on like, oh, the next Steph Curry type of thing, but other than his shooting, like, he's gotten better facilitating. He's driving to the hole more. But mostly it's his facilitating. Like, he's passing. Like, his assist has went up like every year since he's been in the league. So I feel like he needs to go somewhere where he could really thrive in that aspect. I don't think he's a number one option. I think he's number two option. But he also has the chance to be a great, like, pure point guard. You know what I'm saying? So whatever Atlanta does, I just feel like this year they'll still be a playing team. Um, but who knows? You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. Trey Young is definitely, in my opinion, one of the best young point guards that we have now.
Yeah.
Um, he definitely will mesh better somewhere else. A team I think he could personally go to is Milwaukee,
Mm,
because Milwaukee they're on the brink right now of losing Giannis. There's still teams out there trying to pursue Giannis, and I know Milwaukee doesn't want to lose him. So I think
mm,
getting a guy like Trey Young might be possible, because
yeah.
I think they have a couple contracts that they can probably let off the books. I don't know. I got to do my research. Um,
Yeah. And if they trade, like, by the trade deadline this year, if Trey Young like wants to be traded, and say Milwaukee and Atlanta's in talks, I feel like Milwaukee could give away at least like three guys for like Trey Young. So that would be good and like you said, to keep Giannis there. So it'll be Giannis, Turner, and Trey as like the new big three, so to speak. But you know,
yeah, and then speaking of Milwaukee, this whole Giannis situation has had everybody at the edge of their seat for the past 3 4 months. But personally, I don't think he gonna leave Milwaukee just yet, because no, Giannis is a loyal dude. He's shown so much love to Milwaukee. Milwaukee showed him love, and in what 12 seasons now,
mm,
he's been their guy, and just
nah,
that one
facts.
ring so far is the best achievement he could have had for that franchise. And I don't think they'll want to leave, or I don't think he'll want to leave on bad terms. So whatever teams does go after
Nah,
him.
no matter where he goes, he's always gonna be beloved in Milwaukee. just because of that one ring. Like I said, like some rings are bigger than basketball. So like Dirk, Giannis, like those two rings are whatever happens, and they'll still be loved. To the teams he should go to, that's iffy because obviously his contract's so big. So like you need a salary matchup. Um, the two teams I think of is Miami and New York. Now in New York, the only person I could think of like to trade for is like trade away Cat. So it'll be Brunson and Giannis. As a fan, I feel like I wouldn't be mad at that just because like Cat he gives a little inconsistent play. Like he's a little, you know, as a center, he could shoot as a center, but he also is not really big in the post. Whereas Giannis, he brings that post game, that ferociousness, that true center type feel.
The playmaking that Brunson lacks.
Yeah, the playmaking that Brunson lacks, and then we'll have two 7 footers, Giannis and Mitchell Robinson in the starting lineup when we trade away Cat. You know what I'm saying? And then the bench, say like OG Anunoby goes to the bench. That strengthens the bench because OG is like 17 points per game as a starter. Say he gives that off the bench, that makes our bench better. You know what I'm saying? And then like Miami, the fun thing about Miami and Giannis is you could trade away two players for him, but keep Bam Adebayo. So you could trade Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero, and then you'll have Giannis and Bam as a two stars. Then you'll just have to like fill out the rest of the team. So those are the two teams I feel like if he should want to go to, because one who doesn't like Miami and New York, they have a chance to win. So
Yeah. And then I feel like a team we should low key talk about that could be sneaky this year are the Raptors.
hmm,
Like the Raptors, they got a young core, well, semi young core with R.J. Barrett, Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes. You know, after I seen a little bit of the highlights of the Brandon Ingram preseason debut. He already looks smooth. He already looks comfortable.
yeah,
Basically doing what he was doing in New Orleans. You know, scoring and when it comes to that, that's what the Raptors were missing was like consistent. Go get a bucket
yeah,
guys. We have RJ. They had RJ Barrett, but RJ Barrett, as we saw in New York, he could be inconsistent most days,
nah, for sure,
and he's not really that first option guy. And Brandon Ingram is a guy I believe that could be a first option.
yeah,
Then Scotty Barnes, he has that great perimeter defense that Brandon Ingram don't really has because of size. And you know, the Raptors, they're still young to the point where like they could compete for at least the next 3-4 years in
yeah,
terms of like making playoffs and at least probably getting a star to want to go there. Cause like just like with the Rockets and like other teams like them, making the playoffs at least 1 or 2 years is convincing enough for some certain stars.
yeah, nah, for real,
And if they were to get like an all star center point guard, that would be fine with them. And then the East this year is like I said before, the East this year is very wide open. It's a little weird on trying to predict where these teams could land
yeah,
because it's basketball, anything could happen, injuries, teams lose games that they should win, and and then there's so many young stars that are starting to come up, and like this year, I feel like are going to prove themselves, like a Cade Cunningham, like a Paulo Banchero,
yeah,
and then you have these sophomores like Alex Sarr, like they have something to prove this year, so they're gonna be coming out gunning, coming for heads, and so like the East this year is gonna be very
yeah.
like
It's
they
super
any
wide
team in
open.
my opinion besides like really the Knicks can really experiment with anything because
Yeah,
everybody's everybody's just trying to prove themselves and like prove that they could be these especially like these lower poverty franchises can prove that all right,
yeah.
boom, we are next up.
I feel like if we talking about like where these teams will land, like my top three will be Knicks number one, Orlando number two, and then Detroit number three in the East at least. I feel like those will be the top three teams. Obviously it could be different, obviously, but definitely those are the top three teams, and then everybody else will just fill in. I do think Celtics, Raptors, teams like that, they will be playing teams. The Celtics will definitely be a playing team for sure. If the Raptors, like if those players on the Raptors take a jump, then that will be them being a playoff team will be like a win for the season. So, um,
And then you got teams like Philly where we don't know
oh
where they
yeah,
can
nah,
go
yeah,
because
they could. I don't know where they could go. Honestly, they like if Maxi plays well, everybody. I mean, their guys been playing together for some years now, just without Embiid. So they could be literally top six. They could also be a playing team. It's either or with them. I lost all faith in them too. So they could land. They could be a middle of the pack team, or they are a middle of the pack team.
yeah, honestly, I definitely do think like missing the playoff. If they were to miss the playoffs, I wouldn't be surprised because they have so many injuries.
Mm.
Like Jared McCain, we were all excited to see him coming into the season, and boom,
I
what he
mean,
tore his quad
he.
or something during
I
during
think it was like
practice,
ACL or something like
ACL
that.
during
Yeah,
practice or
something like
something.
that. I don't know.
And you have Paul George who's playing on two knee braces. You
And they
have
gave
him,
him the bag too,
and they
like
gave that man the bag,
200
like
mil or something like that.
two, like all that just for this man to play
Yeah, it's
15
it's sad,
games.
bro, because it's like come on, bro, like you gave him 200 mil and he can't even you can't get no service for him. Like he just taking money at this point. Like it's not really, what I'm
Yeah, but
saying.
like us, and then you have teams like Indiana. Like, yes,
Mm,
they don't have their star player in Tyrese Halliburton, but as they did prove in Game 7 of the finals that they're a team who can compete no matter who's on the court, who's off the court. Their team meshes so well together that they don't need to prove that they are those guys because they have proven that they are those guys. You
mm,
have Pascal Siakam, you have a TJ McConnell, you have a Obi Toppin, you have
yeah.
I forget the roster, but I
Nah,
gotta look
they
it back
that's
at
the
it.
thing. Like their roster's so deep, whereas I don't want to say it's plug and play because how Rick Carlisle like coaches, but I feel like them not having Halliburton, I feel like Neesmith and Nimhard and McConnell, like they need to take another leap while he's out and still be that, you know, 6, 5, 6 seed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and as you saw during the finals, like Nemhard,
Mm,
he can definitely take that increase,
yeah,
in my
I like
opinion.
Neesmith personally.
And
Like I like him. He's fire, bro. Like his what he was doing in the finals as like that third option, nasty.
nah, it definitely was because like those are teams. I feel like the Thunder and the Pacers was such a good final series to like in terms of like team wise because that's what NBA teams should thrive for. Like not only a good starting five, but a bench that can also mesh so well with your starting five that
Yeah,
you can pick plug anybody anywhere
exactly.
and like you're not so reliant on your star player because like look at Tyrese. He wasn't the best scorer most games, but he still has impact like playmaking wise. Had a few good defensive stops when he could. Um, you had TJ McConnell coming off the bench who, surprisingly could give you 30 if he wanted to.
Yeah, T.J.
That's
McConnell. He was a big he was a big help in that finals.
and well that and then the East is looking very interesting this year. I can't wait to see what they can do. Um you got so many teams that could have a jump, that can't have a jump, but we just waiting to see what if they stay healthy, what these players have in mind of what they need to improve on. And it's not like a we need to compete with the West kind of thing this year. It's really more of a they're competing with themselves
Yeah,
in terms of like mentality and winning because there's so much like I guess you could say there's so much like parity in the NBA now
yeah.
that
Everybody wants to be like everybody. Like everybody's trying to do the same type of offense. Same. It's like very ISO heavy when it comes to like a top star. I feel it needs to be more like fluid, more. more play is being ran. Not just running around, but
And that's where, like, teams like, the Knicks and the Pacers
yeah,
and the Cavs, that's where they come in as like potentially those top three seeds this year because they play so efficient. They play. It's not just one man and a bunch of his guys. It's a team,
yeah,
and that's
exactly.
where the NBA, in my opinion, is slowly starting to get back to in like in a certain way. But like as it's been proven, like in this past playoffs, you need from the first man all the way to the 15th man.
Nah, for
Everybody
real. Everybody
needs
needs to be bonded together.
yeah, everybody needs to bond together. Everybody needs to mesh. And if you don't have that system where they can mesh, guys got to get moved, players got to get switched around. Um, just adjustments need to be made, and
Yeah,
that's what this season is for the East, in my opinion. It's a huge adjustment, and then just like go back out to the West. It's more of a dogfight out there because you have so many teams that made moves during the offseason, like the Nuggets getting back Bruce Brown,
hmm
and you saw what they did.
and they got like Valanciunas too. Like I saw that preseason game. It was Bruce Brown was there, Valanciunas. Like they had like these key guys that mesh well with Joker. You know what I'm saying? So and Bruce Brown like won the championship with Joker, so like he knows what to do basically. You feel me? So
Yeah, and then you also have teams like the Suns who are on the complete opposite of that scale.
mm,
Instead of getting better, in my opinion, they got worse. You have like yes, Jalen Green is good, but he's inconsistent as he's proven in the past. You have a Dylan Brooks who's good defensively, but offensively he lacks, and his 3-point shot, is hit or miss certain days. And Devin Booker is at the point in his career where he needs to be competing for championships.
for sure.
And for a guy like him to only get that for a 1 year, it's sad. And while he's watching other players that are like Jokic, like Shea, like Luca, like Kyrie and all them, getting better teams, getting better teammates, and those teams that they're on are really trying to build around them, and he's only he's not getting that.
Yeah.
You feel bad for him.
Yeah, I feel like Devin Booker personally, I feel like he needs to one. Jalen Green and Devin Booker play the same position, and neither one of them can play point guard. So Devin Booker needs to ask for a trade. Like it's just that simple. He needs to ask for a trade. I don't know what his contract is. I gotta take a look at it, but I don't know if he has any no trade clause or none of that. I don't think he does. All I know is he needs to ask for a trade. He needs to go somewhere where he could win, where he could be him. Win because I think he's like 28 right now. He still got maybe 4 or 5 years of his prime, at least till he's 35. So he needs to go somewhere where he can win one, two, three, four championships.
Hmm.
Um,
Cause you got younger guys like Wemby, who's this year's about to make an extreme leap after the
yeah,
offseason
and
he
they
didn't
and they
have
built like San Antonio built around him. So
in such what 2 years.
yeah, it was
Like it's
basically 2 years.
like it just sucks to see like it sucks to see like guys like Devin Booker have a team built around him for like a year and then automatically get split up and nothing
Yeah, nothing happens after
nothing
that.
happens after that. But
Yeah.
guys like Wemby been in the league 2 years now, going into his third year, already having a solid, stable like foundation
hmm
built around him, and it's looking like the Spurs are going to be a playoff
Well,
team.
and you know why that happened is because Darren Fox, who's still in his prime, asked for a trade from San Antonio from Sacramento. So like that, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. When Devin Booker, like he needs to do that. Go to a team where you see the potential. Ask to get traded to a team where you see potential and play there because you never know. Like the next year, you could be having playoff contention. So
And then you got guys like Anthony Edwards. He's making an extreme leap, especially last year, going up to what 42% from the three last year,
yeah, 42%.
and you
I don't
know
know if I like him shooting threes though. Even though he's shooting 40%, but I don't know if that's like his game. You know what I'm saying? I like when he first came into the league, downhill, post up, like all that type of game. But him improving, like that's a good thing.
Yeah, because Anthony Edwards, in my opinion, could definitely be a future face of the league, MVP candidate, all that. It's just, right now in Minnesota, who knows what they got going on down there. But, like, yes, they have Jaden McDaniels. Yes, they have, guys off the bench like Bones Highland. And, they got Drew Holiday. I mean, Drew Holiday. They got Julius Randle.
Yeah,
And they got, like, other okay, solid pieces around him. But he's a guy, and mentality wise, I can tell he's a guy that's not going to take all this losing for much longer.
yeah,
And if they don't do nothing this year, I could definitely see him coming out with that mentality of not talking shit about the franchise, not talking about shit about the franchise and the owners, just more like making subtle hints of like, this is what we need to do, this is what
yeah,
we could improve on, because God, he guys like him and guys like him just need to, make that are making that jump to where they could compete for a championship, like you've seen before when he
yeah.
took the Mavericks to what, seven, right? Is it the Mavericks
Who
to seven?
who took the Mavericks? Anthony Edwards.
Yeah,
Yeah, he took them to seven.
yeah. So like, as you've seen, his potential is there. We seen that he could be one of those ones. It's just, it needs to Minnesota needs to hit on that now.
Nah, for sure, for sure. Their window, I don't want to say is like wide open, but it's like it's pretty open for them to win. They're either in the semifinals or the conference finals every year. So I just feel like they need to do something, you know. But then again, that goes back to my original statement. What I said earlier is go OKC. Like if they don't make it back to the finals, like that's gonna be a problem for me because we haven't seen nobody has ever made it back to back, let alone win back to back championships. So it's like it's no true dominance in the NBA anymore. Feel me?
And I feel like it's probably like the reason like there's no dominance is because I guess you could say there's more star power in the league
Yeah,
compared to 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and like yes, that there with there being more star power, that's good, but at the same time, it's like where it's like certain teams don't know how to build around that star power,
yeah. And
and
well, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of teams are building for one championship. Like a lot of teams are literally building for one ring, and then after that, they're either letting players walk in free agency or just not going out and getting pieces they need to win again in free agency. They're just not. They're just building for one championship, and I feel like it needs to be the other way around. Like I feel like a lot of and a lot of players should be like right after they win and party and all that, they need to come back and be like, all right, let's do it again, let's go. You know what I'm saying? A lot of players, I feel like they don't have that.
yeah, I mean, who knows with the Thunder? I'm very confident that that they can go back to the finals and win another championship. But we know it's a hard journey to win back to back. But we need a franchise to prove that there is still dominance in the league. There needs to be a team to beat
Yeah,
because there's so many different teams that could win the championship, but we need to have a team that we know that's going to win,
yeah,
and we need teams that's going to want to cut off the heads, like.
exactly,
And then I feel
exactly.
like the only team in the West that could probably do that, like compete with the Thunder, or probably like or the Nuggets, and I mean probably just the Nuggets, honestly, because the rest of the teams in the West,
Yeah,
a lot of them are either just got tossed together, or
yeah,
they're
probably just
um
the Nuggets.
yeah, it's just
Yeah,
probably
probably
just the
just the
Nuggets
Nuggets. I
because,
don't really.
like I said, there's teams that just got tossed together, so they're gonna spend all 82 games trying to mesh by the playoffs. And then you have some teams who have been together since last year, but
Hmm.
aren't going to win a championship. Like my opinion, like Warriors, they with Jimmy, with all those older guys that they have, they could make the playoffs, but winning a championship is not possible.
Yeah,
And Jokic is the only player in the league, the most dominant player in the league already, and he's the only player in the league. I feel like that's not gonna sit here and take all this losing from like with the Nuggets and be happy with that. He wants to win another championship. You could
Yeah.
tell, and with them bringing back Bruce Brown, I could tell they're and getting rid of Michael Porter Jr.
Mm,
I could tell that the Nuggets are serious again.
yeah.
So with them being serious, I definitely see them in the Thunder being the top two most dominant teams in the West
Yeah, for
and
sure.
being those teams to like look out for.
For sure, for sure. Just to wrap this up, give like your top three or four in the West.
All
What you
right.
think?
I feel like by the end of the season, top four, I'll say like top three teams in the West will probably be the Thunder one, Nuggets two, and then three. Not gonna lie, it could be the Spurs because
Could be,
the
yeah.
Spurs, yes, they have some time to build, but when you look at all 15 teams in the West, there's not really too many complete teams. Like the Nuggets, the Thunder, and the Spurs are only teams you can look at 1 through 5, and then 6 through 10.
Mm,
You'd be like, all right, he can do this, he can do that, he can do that. All right, he can make up for this, he can make up for that. Oh, he meshes with him, and it's like, all right, you can have a plan for them,
hmm.
but once they throw out a new lineup, it's like, damn, now the plan has
Yeah,
to get switched around.
yeah, yeah.
Unlike with like I said, the Rockets and the Mavericks, those are two teams that, yeah, they look like they're gonna be good and dominant this year, but at the same time, it's like the Rockets have injuries with Fred VanVleet, and their only scorer is KD. And then
Hmm.
the Mavericks, they have AD, but AD has, he has health issues. He
Yeah,
can't
he's
really
like
be on the
injury prone and
injury
shit.
prone. And then we're not banking on Cooper Flag to be a 30-point per game scorer
Oh
off the
yeah,
bat, of
absolutely
course.
not.
And then Kyrie probably won't be back until
Yeah,
February.
until maybe even March.
And it's like, they have a lot to worry about. And then every California team either isn't making the playoffs or they're going to make the playoffs, but it won't be nothing special. And then like I said, the West is very it's interesting this year. Like it's
Mm,
gonna be tough and it's gonna be a
yeah,
dogfight. But in my opinion, I feel like once it comes time for those playoffs, the only three teams I feel like are going to be the teams to watch are the Nuggets and the Thunder and the Spurs.
yeah. For the East, for me, my top, I'm gonna switch around my top four. Obviously the Knicks, the Knicks are gonna be number one. I feel like with the East wide open, they can still be number one. Um, I like I said before, I don't like the Knicks bench. I feel like it's gonna be weird and wonky. Um, Mike Brown, he's a good coach, but his coaching style is he coached under Steve Kerr, so his coaching style could be a little iffy too. But other than that, it's good. Then I'm gonna go Cleveland second, whereas I had Orlando earlier. I'm gonna go Cleveland second because they, what they did last year and stuff. They could be pretty good. Then I'm gonna go Orlando. Then I'm gonna go Detroit. And then Milwaukee is like five. So, like I said, like it's the East is pretty open. So it could go those five teams I just named. It could be either or. Um. So yeah, and then when we talk about Milwaukee, it's like, will he even be there by the end of the season? So you know what I'm saying. So everything is just up in the air right now. So yeah.
And I definitely feel like before we wrap up, the international players this year, this is
Mm,
their season.
yeah.
And I hate like I hate the fact that the NBA shits on these international players the way they do in the media because they are so drastically starting to become more dominant. But this year will be the year of the international players because you have Shea, you have Jokic, you have Wemby, out east you have Giannis, and then who else is an international player out east?
Um.
Um,
Out east we got. Yabusele from France. Um,
I guess you can count Alex Sarr.
yeah,
Um,
most of the international players are in the West. So
yeah, but like I was saying,
Giannis though, he's like dominant. Like he's the most dominant
since Shaq.
four since Shaq. Dominant big man since Shaq. Even though he plays the four, plays better when he has a center next to him. But yeah, he's the most dominant since Shaq. You know what
And
I'm saying?
yeah, and then you know, it's just this year is gonna be very interesting. The NBA is hard to predict. It's a sport. Anything can happen.
Yeah,
We're just giving our opinions on what we think could happen. We might be completely wrong, completely right, or dead stuck in the middle.
yeah,
And but like that's why we have this podcast to give our little opinions and see if people agree. If y'all don't agree, fuck y'all. Then I don't care. Um, but to wrap it up, that's locker room logic, y'all. Hope
yes,
y'all enjoyed
sir.
the episode. Hope y'all had a little bit of laughs. Give y'all opinions on what y'all think the NBA season could have this year. What players do you see having a bounce back season? What players do you see having the most improved seasons? And what players do you see just having a disappointed season? And give your opinions on what y'all want to see us talk about next episode. We'll probably go more into individual players,
Yeah,
and like stats and like awards, and that's it.
yes, sir. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't be afraid to DM the page or DM one of us of what you guys want to hear, whether it be basketball, any other sport, any other athlete. So yeah, hit us up.